Hey, I'm Nikki, and welcome to our very awesome Pride episode. Today we are raising funds for GLISTEN. GLISTEN is an organization that aims to end bullying of LGBTQ youth in schools from K through 12. They provide training and anti-bullying programs for educators. And as a queer educator, it's super important to me. And as queer adults here at TTRPG, it is something that is near and dear to our hearts because we are also seeking to normalize LGBTQ kids. So today we have some amazing guests, including our first guest is Friday. And before we get started, we have to talk about what kind of tea we're drinking. Today I'm drinking Stardust, and I've iced it because it's one of my decaf options. And Stardust is a Ziggy Stardust themed black tea, and it has glitter in it, which you can't see because my it's too dark. I brewed it extra dark today. Oh, our other guest has joined us. Let me fix our overlay real quick. I'll be right back. Awesome. And then, are we not getting sound on? Can you talk again, Reecie? Okay, hold on a second. Audience, can you hear Reecie? Yeah, because it's not picking up your sound. Yeah, we can't hear you. Okay. Um, what is happening? Why is that doing this? Um, Picking me up just fine. It's OBS isn't showing you talking, even though I can hear you. Try again. I can hear you, but OBS is not picking you up. Usually it's that it's not picking me up. All right, let's see. Aha, I think this is the problem. Okay, try again. It was me. It was me. I fixed it. It was basing it on a speaker that it's not picking up because I have headphones in. All right. Now you can tell us about your tea again. And then we'll switch.
One more time, I will go over the amazing experience I'm having with Friday afternoon tea. Today, I have spicy peach cobbler, which is something that I drank on our last episode. And we have the very, very cute Friday afternoon tea logo on this. Today, I'm drinking it hot, but it actually can be very good iced. Anything that I've tried from Friday can be a hot or iced tea. So I really feel like they have something for everyone.
Absolutely. Great. And the tea I'm drinking is really, it's like fruity and sweet. And I mean, I did put agave in it, so that might have something to do with that. But, all right.
And I did watch Friday's TikTok this week, and I was inspired by the fact that I could use my French press to brew tea, because I've been using like those little tea ball, like tea bag things to make it into a tea bag, but this actually works really great, and if you let it sit for a while, you get the best flavor possible.
That's awesome. I love that. All right, great. So I'm going to move us over to our lovely first guest, Friday Elliott. And let me transition. There she is. So Friday Elliott is a CEO and mad scientist at Friday Afternoon Tea and an extended member of the TTRPG family, as she is part of our program here with a tea discount, which I will post right now. So yeah, welcome. What kind of tea are you drinking today?
Oh, I'm drinking one with such a fun name. Today is summer solstice. So I went like full hippie and I was like, what's the most woo-woo, like summer fae kind of tea I could be drinking today? And so I went with one that's called Zhangping Shuiqian, which is a Chinese oolong that is also known as water sprite or narcissus oolong. And I just think it has really lovely kind of like, it puts me in mind of like a little water sprite, like a little fairy by the side of a pond in a forest. And I was like, that's the jam for summer solstice. It's got these nice bright floral notes, and the leaves are freaking ginormo. I gotta show you. I'm gonna reach into this. It's like 190 degrees. Look at these leaves. This is one of the smaller ones. It was just floating on the top. This is like half of a leaf. And it's like
that's huge. That's so big.
Yes, I'm gonna steep it like 14 times and then I'm gonna eat the leaves. That's my plan.
You can eat the leaves?
Yes, you can. Yeah, I don't recommend doing so if you have not steeped it a lot or if you haven't like brewed them and then pickled them, because it is pretty tough roughage. So if you eat a ton of tea leaves and they haven't been softened up a lot, we've learned from personal experience that you might barf a bunch.
Oh no.
Yeah, your stomach isn't really designed to digest like such a hard, fibrous, waxy leaf. But they are really awesome and really good for you. And there's actually a lot of regions of the world where they're used for culinary applications, but they just require a little processing to kind of break them down. But like pickled tea leaves, there's a dish called la pet that I think is a Burmese thing. Is it still Burma? What is it now? I didn't go to real high school, so I don't know geography. But yeah, there you go. Pickled tea leaves. So good. So that's totally something you could do. But in our house, we steep our oolongs a bajillion times and then we just kind of snack on the leaves like a little warm oolong salad. It's
That's
so good.
amazing.
Yeah.
Salad. Okay.
So that reminds me of that TikToker. Do you follow her that posts the videos about all the different edible things in the world and like goes around and collects kelp and edible plants and all this stuff?
Yes.
I
What is
love.
her name? She's so cute.
I don't remember. Cars, we have
Alexis
the
something?
link posted in chat. Cars is
Mm,
watching, so maybe she'll do
yes.
it.
Yes. Awesome. Perfect.
I love. So it's Pride. So let's start with, what does Pride mean for you?
Who, me?
Yeah, you. What
Oh,
does Pride mean to Friday?
well, I'm gonna get real Care Bear here because that's kind of all that I know. And also, this feels like a really excellent place to get super schmoopy about friendship. So I'm gonna do that. My favorite thing about Pride is how much people are almost like friendship aggro at each other this time of year. They like people want to get like really intense about their friendships and their support of each other. And like I feel like when people are angry during Pride, that's also really cool because I feel like it's for like a positive. We want to lift each other up, and if we're angry, it's because we haven't reached that yet. So it's like rage coming from a place of love, which are two very exciting feelings in the same place that I feel like all come together in like a big aggro group hug kind of friendship situation. It's just the whole month is a real opportunity to be kind to one another and to like verbally smash the faces of people who are jerks to people. So
Absolutely.
I like that. Plus, like sparkles.
Yeah.
Awesome. So for me, and I totally agree with you. It's both. It's the riot and the love, and and that's one of the reasons that I chose to that we chose Glisten, was because one of my biggest goals is to protect my queer kids, my students, and because I know what it's like to be different and not understand what you're going through, and so that's one of our big goals. So yeah, we totally agree. It is all of those things at once. So you were on BuzzFeed, so congratulations on going completely viral. What was that experience like? Because I know it was both awesome and not so awesome. So
yeah, gosh, I feel like back in the 90s, they had us watch in school, at least here in the Northwest, in the land of Microsoft, we had to watch all these videos about cyberbullying. And like I forgot about those videos until that BuzzFeed thing happened. And I was like, oh, this is what they were warning us about, because the response was deeply unkind from a lot of people. I have never felt legitimately cyberbullied in my life until that week, and it sucked, honestly. And like the whole point, I made a tiki-taki, which is what I insist on calling it in my house because I like to talk like an abuela and I think it's adorable. So I heard an old Mexican lady say tiki-taki one time and I thought it was the cutest thing ever, so I have adopted it. So I made a tiki-taki that was about how I have a superpower that allows me to taste words, and that's how I make all my tea. And that kind of exploded, and I went super viral on TikTok, and it was all very new and exciting and weird and exhausting, but like kind of cool. And then there were all these other people with various dominant forms of synesthesia that came onto my page and said, oh my gosh, like, thank you for talking about this, and thank you for having something I can point people to that explains the science behind it, because like I don't feel like there's something broken or wrong with me, or I don't feel like like I'm alone in this, or if people don't believe me or they don't understand what I'm saying, I have a place to point them. And that was huge for me because I have like big mom heart. I think it's one of my finest qualities. Like I love everyone so much, so hard, just all the time, every day. And I wear all my feelings on my outsides. And I feel like one of my favorite qualities about myself is that I am extremely vulnerable all the time in a way that facilitates space for other people to be able to find comfort expressing themselves, or find relatability in the world, and not have to feel so other than or so alone. So I was feeling very cool about the work I was doing over there, and really connecting people and doing like some fun collab videos and all that, and just building this community where people with synesthesia or without synesthesia could talk to each other and not feel like it's a weird thing or like a freak thing. And I got bullied a lot for this when I was a kid, and I was told that like I was, making stuff up, or that I was like just trying to get attention, or that I was, crazy, or that I was broken, or there's something wrong with me. And I just kind of learned to not talk about it. And then I don't know, I grew up and I'm just bad at not talking about things. I'm a very expressive person. And so, I started talking about it, and I've just found that there is so much value in being like the feelings meat shield, like I feel like my role is to take one for the team, emotionally speaking, so that then that's not necessary for other people. And that's something I really like and I'm good at. But BuzzFeed caught on to this, as they do. And they said, hey, we'd really love to interview you for an article about like your work that you do and this cool project. I started something called the Name Game Project, where people were, expressing all these different synesthetes, talking about how they experience people's names through the lens of their synesthesia. So like for me, flavor, but for other people like color or texture or whatever. And, just as a point of like, names are very personal, very things that we have really emotional connections to. So it's a way of like really connecting on an emotional level through this kind of prismatic sensory experience. And so BuzzFeed was like, we want to talk about that because we think what you're doing is cool. We want to talk about your work. They sent me a list of questions and had me record a video interview. And then they butchered it in editing and turned it into this like little, like sound bitey, like, haha, look at this sideshow freak kind of video. And they were like so disrespectful. And in their video that they posted, they were like going around in their office like they do, and they were like, oh, that's cute, I think I can do it, here, let me try it, and like just totally being disrespectful and terrible about it. And then they didn't moderate their comments at all.
Of course not.
Of course not. So their comments, which I shouldn't have read, but I'm a little obsessive and I don't like not knowing everything everyone's doing or saying at all times of every day, because I'm deeply nosy and I like want the chisme. But it was very bad for my mental health. So I kept looking at the comments, and it was just a bunch of people saying that I was crazy, or saying that I was on drugs, or saying that I was a liar for attention. And it really devastated me. It didn't occur to me that people would be so mean. Like, I wasn't doing anything. I was just kind of hanging out with people, having a good time, making people feel good. And so yeah, I had people in there that were just writing like mentally ill. And like, that was the whole comment.
I would have been like, yes, but also.
I mean, yeah, but not about this. Like, that's not even what we're talking about right now. But like, that's not productive, Or like, I mean, I had people, I think the worst ones were like, well, with a name like Friday, of course, this just like making stuff up for attention. I was like, that's a name people have.
You were like, I didn't choose my name, you jerk.
I mean, like, or like, you could say any name, and if you're like, I genuinely, that wouldn't hurt me, because I'm like, that's not only mean to me, like anyone who has a name that isn't in your day-to-day, you're gonna go out here and insult and like make judgments
I'm sorry,
about
my
them?
name's not Jessica or
Ashley. Right, because at that point, like, that's just xenophobic. Like there are a world of names that you don't see in your everyday that are not like weird names. You just haven't encountered them.
Today, I watched a video on Facebook, and like, yes, I go by Reecie, but my name is Charisse. And there was a lady named Charisse who assaulted a lady in McDonald's because she couldn't have 3 flavors in 1 cup of her soda or whatever. And I'm like, this is why I don't go by Charisse. But like, the name Charisse is really beautiful, but gosh, like that, a name can be associated with a type of behavior, and it's just like, okay, I'm disassociating myself with this.
Yeah. I think, people are going to they're going to have their ideas about what a person with a name is like.
Yeah.
And I don't know. People use it as an excuse to be mean, and I don't get that. I don't like it. And yeah, but I do feel like I did a really good job handling that BuzzFeed situation once I stopped like crying and feeling like absolute shit. Which honestly, I had like a real bad like depression dip for a couple weeks. Of course I did. People were seeking me out to go into my DMs to call me a liar. Like it was really ugly. It was so bad. So I went back onto TikTok and I was like, hey, so this thing happened that seemed like it should have been cool, but instead it was terrible. Now I'm getting cyberbullied. That sucks. How about if we're nice to each other instead, assholes?
Yeah.
And so then I think it actually did end up boosting my ratings, and people liked me more because I kept it real wholesome. And they were like, yeah, word, we should just be nice to each other. I'm like, okay.
Absolutely.
So,
And the people
yeah,
who
so that's
do
just
that
how I
kind
choose to
of
handle that kind
thing,
of stuff.
like I don't understand that mentality at all where you go out of your way to hate on somebody, and I'm like, don't you have anything better to do? And the answer is no. They don't.
Right.
And they don't have friends, and they don't have enough friends, and they weren't hugged enough. And like I always tell myself, whenever someone on the internet is mean to me, or even in real life they're mean to me, I'm just like, that's not about me. It's about them. And of course, like, especially as a neurodivergent person, I can't always force myself to believe that, but I do try and remind myself.
Yeah.
So,
And like that's such a nice way to like look at it. And I think it can really help to program that lens for ourselves of saying like, there's something happening with this person that is causing them to have a reaction. This isn't about me. Like, I don't need to take that on and make that my responsibility or my reality. And also, I can still find space for empathy because clearly this person is like struggling with something. Like, people who are okay and happy with their own lives don't seek out strangers on the internet to cyberbully.
right.
Like, that's not the behavior of someone who is like well adjusted and happy with their life. So I don't like, I was raised by hippie, nonviolent communication counselor, woo woo drum circle types. And I definitely grew up with the idea of like, if someone lashes out, then rather than saying, you hurt me and that's the issue here, if we can find a way to like step aside from that and come at it from an empathy angle and say like, okay, what do you need to like go figure that out, or like how can I
need? Because it's a very
exactly
like primitive need that somebody has if they go out of their way to be evil to other people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, especially as a queer person, like, it's not your responsibility to make other people feel better. And so, like, they, just because they're broken inside doesn't mean they get to be mean to you.
Absolutely.
And so everyone has the opportunity to be educated as adults, and if they don't take that opportunity, they get blocked. Simple. Like, it's bye. Like, I don't need you. And especially you've got 100,000 other people who love you and love your videos and want to watch your videos and interact with you. So yeah, so those people can just get lost. But yeah, so I'm curious about the you've been doing a series where you're talking about different orientations and sexual identities and all these different things and what they taste like to your brain. And I have to tell you, my Ace and Arrow friends were super excited about that one and thought it was just the cutest thing. So can you talk about that and about what motivated, I mean, obviously Pride motivated you to do that, but like, what gave you the idea?
I'm pretty sure just somebody asked in a comment. Honestly, I think that was it. I think someone just said, "Oh, hey, if you taste all words but also all concepts." And I know I did like a Zodiac series recently, and it's a pretty natural progression from Zodiac to orientation and gender identity. I feel like those things are next door neighbors right now in this world. Like, let's talk about your sign and then also your identity and your orientation. Like, there's a lot of overlap and interest between those things in terms of like, let's do a cute like group party game about it. And so yeah, I was doing a thing about like, I think it was the Pisces group, it must have been the Pisces group that was like, okay, so if I'm a Pisces and I taste like a cupcake but also I'm like pansexual, can we stack those things? Like, what does that recipe look like or something? I was like, yeah, 100% we can. Because, like a concept has its own complex flavor profile, but then also a word does. And so I started doing a series of like, someone said like, what does the word lesbian taste like? And I was like, yeah, okay, let's do this. So just started, I don't know, doing it. People were requesting them.
A personal request. What does the word lesbian taste like to you?
Lesbian has some like sherbety flavors, but it's a really complicated one because that one has a lot of layers to it. And it's got like almost like an Orange Julius thing going on, but then it also has a lot of other like really pink stuff going on, which I like because it does match its flag. So I do appreciate that. But yeah, there's a lot of like good citrusy stuff and creamy stuff going on in that one.
I'm going to need a read on me then too.
Yeah.
Because a Leo and a bi taste like?
Okay, well, bi is very fun because it tastes like the okay, did you ever have the little Mexican banderas de coco?
Yes.
Yes, like that, but if it was like submerged in cold heavy whipping cream, right? So it had like a thick layer of cold heavy whipping cream on it, but that coconut candy texture underneath. Yeah, so that. And then Leos are so cool because Leos have like a warm brandy with like ginger in it kind of thing. It's like bitey, warm, boozy.
Is anyone surprised that Reecie and I are both Leos? Like, and on top of that, Reese's mom and I have the same birthday.
Yes.
What?
I know.
We're giving off big Leo energy. Also, the thing you just described, I might have to recreate in the kitchen as like a Leo pastry cake.
Yeah.
As what cookie? I don't know. It probably could go really good with tea as well.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah. My favorite was, so there's on TikTok, there's a creator called Des the Les who I love, who I feel like all of queer Latin TikTok is like on her page.
Is that the one that looks like Turk? Like she always jokes about looking like Turk?
Yeah.
Okay, we love her.
Yeah. Yes, she's amazing. And she made a video that like super took off about, well, she's always making these really cute videos about her mom, which is why I started following her to begin with, because like Spanglish is my first language and I think is the cutest language in the world. I think Spanglish is adorable and I love it. And especially like old people Spanglish is my favorite. So, she made a video about how her mom refers to Pride season as the time for Los Gibbities, which as in LGBT, Los Gibbities.
Oh my god!
And it exploded. That video exploded. We all love it. And I actually got the sticker.
Oh,
Los Gibbities.
I love it so much.
And so I made a video about how that one tastes, and that one is actually my favorite one of the whole Pride series because Los Gibbities, you get like the sweet tart candies, but it's like if you just took a few of them and threw them into your mouth and then like shook your head around so they rattled on the inside of your teeth and left like that sweet tart chalk dust around. It's like that sensation. Los Gibbities.
I want to taste that for sure.
Totally.
My best friend growing up, she's Mexican, and her mother used to call Carl's Jr. Carlos Jr. And it was my favorite thing in the whole world because she would ask us to go to Carlos Jr. for a hamburguesa, and she was so cute. I miss her. Anyway,
Carlos
so
Jr. We called it Carlitos.
Carlitos Jr.
Carl Jr. is Carlitos.
That's amazing. So okay,
just straight translated it.
Yeah.
I could talk to you for a bajillion years. We love having you on. We're definitely you'll be on all the time. Like, we're just going to keep having you on. Whenever we don't have a spot, we're going to call you and be like, please be on the show.
Good to be your backup. No, but for reals, good to be your backup.
Yeah, right? There's a couple people where, they are on my list of people that I would reach out to if somebody had to back out, that will just be endlessly interesting, and that would be you. You're just endlessly interesting. So fun to talk to. And I can't wait till we can have an in-person party at your shop and have all of our local friends come. So tell us, where can we find you? Because Nightbot's being broken, so I'm gonna fix it while Sarah performs. But I'm putting our tea in chat for TTRPG. But tell us about where we can follow Friday and what you're up to.
On the internet. I'm just kidding. That's not a real answer. I just feel like a smart ass. Well, you can find the tea at fridaytea.com, and there is a link to your specific TTRPG tea there. But then also, I'm on Twitter at Friday Tea. I'm on TikTok Friday Afternoon Tea, which is also where I am here on Twitchykins, which I'm not going to apologize for calling it that. But on Facebook and also on Instagram at Friday Tea as well. So it's either Friday Tea or Friday Afternoon Tea on everything, depending on whether I got there in time to get Friday Tea before someone else took it.
Right? That was us with TTRPG. Yeah. I'm like, we got underscore on Twitter, but we got it everywhere else. So
excellent. Yes, so that's where you can find me.
Yes. Just remember that Friday has been on this journey with us since the beginning, and it's really very good to have her back. And this whole thing would not be a thing if we didn't get to connect with Friday. So
oh my gosh,
give extra to us and Friday, and the fact that this was even something that could be possible.
Awesome. And coming up right now, we're going to bring Sarah Shea on to chat with us and perform a song. So let's get that going. And you're live.
Hey, hello. I think I was muted for a second there. I don't know. I fixed it. Everything's fine. Oh, am I alone? Am I the only one here? Okay. My internet is not quite good enough to like have the stream and the call going at the same time. So I'm like, what's happening? What's going on? All right. Well, shall I just do it? Shall I just do a song? All right. This is a little song for really anybody who ever experienced sort of their sexual or even romantic awakening by watching a TV show, and especially queer kids having that experience, and extra especially queer kids who had that experience with Doctor Who. Because I stopped going silver spacesuit. I'm sure I shouldn't feel the way that I do, but a button nose is so cute. So we could Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I did want to catch up with you a little bit, though, since it's been a little while since the last time you were on a show, and also you're one of the only people that's been invited back. So what has been going on with you since the last time that we got to talk to you?
Oh my gosh. Just general, like, kind of gradually getting back into, like, quote unquote normal life stuff. I've been doing a little less streaming online because I've had to do a little more leaving my house to earn money, which is unfortunate, but so it goes. I'm actually on a Twitch break right now, but I'm going to be coming back to regular Twitch streaming very soon.
Awesome. And what is like your feelings about being able to leave the house to go make money and do your work?
Complicated. I would love to be able to I mean, if I was leaving the house to go play shows to people, actual people right in front of me who I can hear them laugh and see them smile, that would be great. But unfortunately, I'm not quite at the level of being in big groups yet. I'm just going and doing little like freelance stuff outside the house. So it's a little bit of a bummer because it's not what I would like to be doing with my time. I would like to be just playing music every day.
Definitely. And I'm hoping for that for you, and we'll hold out to hear that everything gets there eventually one day.
Yeah, hopefully outdoor shows this summer will be just nonstop.
That is the dream. I want to be at as many as I can, but also don't get too close to me if I don't know you.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, in honor of our Pride episode and this being Pride Month, share with us, what is your gayest song?
I mean, I think I just played it. Like, that's why I chose it. I mean, that is my gay space song. It's about a very specific episode of like old Doctor Who, and it happened to be the show that I was watching, and I thought to myself, oh, this one scene, I bet you a lot of kids in the 60s saw this on TV for the first time and went like, I'm having feelings I don't know how to feel about. I don't know if I'm ready for these feelings. So I just went, all right, let's write a song about that. And you know what? Let's make it gay also, because there aren't enough songs about, kids experiencing their first flush of romance that are from a queer lens. So.
Well, I think you were super successful in your interpretation of that. I definitely felt gay too.
Yeah.
So that's the job of musicians that we didn't know that we had, was to make people feel something, and I think you did a great job with that.
Thank you. I honestly, when I wrote that song, I thought it was just like a fun little throwaway. Like, people who have seen this particular episode of old, like the second Doctor's run, will appreciate this reference, and nobody else will really care about it. And just like every time I played it live, I just throw it into a set for fun. Like, people reacted way out of proportion than I expected. People who are like, I've never seen Doctor Who, but like also I understand the reference. So I ended up another very cool musician named Alan Losefka, who lives in Oregon, reached out to me and was like, hey, can we collaborate on like a single for that song? Because I wrote it to be like a 60s pop song, but on a ukulele, it doesn't really bring out that. So there's a single version of it that has like guitar, drum, bass, and a theremin solo.
Okay.
It's very space and very 60s.
Also, I just want to like see if I can remember this line, which was like the last line was like, "Can I love you?" And that's like a powerful,
Zoe, could I love you? It's like,
I love you. That's like a powerful thing, especially with somebody that's like struggling with like their sexual identity. Like, that's probably what made the song most gay for me.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely that feeling of like, is that what this is? Is that possible? Is that allowed?
Well, thank you so much. We're gonna be able to hear from you again towards the end of the show, and I'm very excited for that.
Thank you for having me back.
Thank you so much. You're amazing. Just hold on to those feelings because you're gonna need to bring out your amazingness again.
Okay. Ready.
So up next we have Dee, who is a voice actor, a streamer, and a musician, and I'm very excited to talk to them.
Oh, hi. That's me.
Hi.
I'm Dee. How's everybody doing? I have to follow that amazing song, so I'm not envying that, but I am definitely glad to be here.
Well,
How are you lovely people doing?
We're very glad to have you, and thank you so much for being a part of our show. We know that everyone is busy with lots of things, but this is such a great opportunity for the both of us to, all of us, to be able to get to know each other.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
could you tell us a little bit more about like your work and your background in the TTRPG community?
Sure. I actually just came from a game that I was running with Magpie Games. I work with them, and I do some work with the Emerald City Game Masters Guild, despite being remote. And I run games for people, and I just make content. I tell my weird little stories, and people seem to enjoy them for some reason. So I'm just continuing doing it, I suppose. And yeah, right right now I'm in the midst of a lot of one shots, no real long campaigns. I just on Critical Misses, I just wrapped the very first game that I ever ran on the internet for people. Pale Cold Sun, which is a vampires game that finally reached its conclusion. So now I've got to put together what I'm gonna do next and figure out what the hell that's gonna be. See how bizarre I can make that as well.
So what like brought you into this whole dang thing?
It's a great story. I always say that the TTRPG community is a signal that I should never. My thirst is probably the most effective dowsing rod that I could possibly have. It's just when I see someone that I'm like, that's a cute person, I should interact with them. That never leads me astray. It really doesn't. But there was back in whenever it was of 2019, there was like a thirst trap TTRPGs thing that was going around, and a friend of mine named Avery posted one, and I was just like, yo, they cute as fuck. And I followed them, and they talked a lot about D&D, and I had been playing for a while, but none of my friends really played TTRPGs, and even then it was just D&D. And eventually me and Avery wanted to get into a game together, so they brought me onto a channel that a friend of theirs ran. And from there, I met people. I met the Critical Misses crew. Anita, with her lovely self, was on one of the very first productions that I was ever a part of, and we just kind of linked up, and I got more and more integrated into the community. Eventually, I got a couple DMs from this one lady who was in my DMs. I was like, hey, do you want to be in a high school one shot for charity that's D&D based? And I was like, you know what? Sure. Like I could make an edgy teenager who's a rogue. Why not? And yeah, it's we just recently passed like my 1 year anniversary of like when I really like stepped into the TTRPG space, and it's wild. It's been an experience.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's great to hear. I definitely remember seeing and participating in Thirst Trap RPG, but I really didn't know what was gonna happen. But I'm glad to hear that like your experience coming in was positive and something that you were interested in, and we hope to have more people have that like spark that comes into them where they can really dive in and be accepted by all of us waiting to play some really fun games.
Yeah, absolutely. I really I really enjoyed as I've spent more time here, because TTRPGs and D&D at large has a very, very public gatekeeping problem. And it was one of my favorite things that one of Critical Miss's one of their mission statements is to sort of dispel that myth, and to have, well, not myth, but dispel that unfortunate fact, I should say. To make it not all a boys' table, to be inclusive of people all across the spectrum, both gender and sexuality wise, and that's been a good thing to be a part of. I like that. Anybody can throw dice and yell at their friends for 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's a joy. Yeah.
So since this is our Pride episode, I would love to ask you, what does Pride mean to you?
That is a great question. I don't know. I am a person who takes pride in a very literal sense, and it's just being unabashedly yourself. And one of my personal things that I want to do as a force in any community that I'm a part of is to create a space where people feel safe enough to be proud about themselves. And also to create a space where I think part of pride is not having to explain yourself so damn much. We live in a culture where people gravitate towards labels, and I think that the community and things that you can get from labels and finding people who are like you is a great thing. But I also think past a certain point, it's like, I'm just kind of here. We're on a rock hurtling through space. We're just doing stuff the best we can, and I want people to be, when they figure out who they are, even if they can't explain it or express it, I think it's important that they're still proud of it,
Yes, that is such a genuine explanation, and I agree with you on all of that for sure.
Yeah.
So, how does gender and sexuality play into the characters that you play or create in your roles as a GM?
Oh man. They're just all over the place. I think generally when it comes to GMing and making NPCs, I will draw more from people that I know, I find. But when it comes to my characters, they're all a facet of me one way or another. Like however you want to slice it, they're all personality traits of mine turned up to 100, which is why I constantly misgender my own characters, because it's not something that I really think of. Like as you can see on the screen, I use any pronouns, and when I say any pronouns, I do mean like any pronouns. I've had people who use neo pronouns address me with neo pronouns just because it makes them feel more comfortable that someone else is using like fair pronouns. And it's something that doesn't really occur to me in the active consciousness, because I'm just D. Like if someone were to refer to me as like, oh hey bro, I'm like, yeah, what's up, like it's fine. If someone were to call me their girlfriend or partner, like I think I've reached a point where I'm secure enough in my identity that it doesn't really the world's perception doesn't change who I am, you know?
Yeah.
So the world can perceive me however they want.
Well, that's super empowering to be able to express that, especially with people that, they are questioning, but I feel like the whole thing that you just said was, I'm just D. And that's like super easy. And I don't know why it should be harder than it has to be.
Yeah, and there's a lot of culture and a lot of society is built around gender norms and stereotypes and what people expect from the people around them. And I think that we can make a lot of progress if we think about what we can expect from ourselves. Because I think a lot of people worry about other people's perception when they don't even know why they think certain things, like there's a huge lack of self-reflection in some cases.
Yeah,
It
it's a
happens.
personal journey. And getting to know yourself is only going to make you better for the rest of the world. So
Mhm.
I really love your output on that, and just like your continued work to make sure that other people can feel that comfortability as well.
I
Yeah.
have to interrupt real quick and let everybody know that we have hit our goal for Glisten. So we did a goal of $100 because this is our first fundraising campaign, and we have hit our goal. So yay! We don't have any giveaways or anything special like that because this was the last week of school and I've been swamped. But we are really excited to raise funds for Glisten. So thank you to whoever donated, and keep donating because the more money they get, the friendlier those schools are going to become.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you so much. That's very exciting news. Like, this is the first time that we've actually run a fundraiser from TTRPG, so I think I want to cry. It's fine. It's fine. But I'm very happy. Thank you for announcing
Absolutely.
that. Zero idea. So yes,
Hell
please
yeah.
continue to donate. Okay, so
Absolutely.
I'm gonna take you on another journey here. Dee, what was my next question? Oh, I wanted to know, what exactly do you stream on your channel?
So my channel is sort of a curated place. It's a place that you can come see me be not a GM, since that is where a lot of people interact with me. I probably shouldn't, but I kind of use it as a YouTube channel. So even if I'm not live there, I have some pre-recorded videos of me doing I'll just get high and record stuff and just throw it up there. Like, fuck it. I think there's a video of me on there where I am playing Dion Diamonds, who's supposed to be a wrestler, and I'm cutting a wrestling promo like for belts. There's all sorts of things. I have this character who the mask is way over there, but I have this character Charlie, who is who I use in a lot of things, and Charlie represents a lot of things, but I mostly just use him as like creepy little fucking swamp creature to make people like, the hell is that? In fact, you know what? It's gonna take me half a second. I'm gonna grab it.
Wow, that's happening. I'm just gonna sip my tea.
Okay. This is Charlie.
Oh, that's
And
terrifying.
yeah, he's an absolute monstrosity, and everyone who walks by him hates him. The back of his head is covered in eyes. It is a mask. It's great. He's a freak of fucking nature. It's
You
fantastic.
know what? I have a fish named Charlie, and you just described him to me.
Perfect.
So it's actually, Charlie is a character that exists out there outside of the life of my little fish.
Yeah. But you can find just all manner of things. I just like, I'm very spur of the moment. I work better spur of the moment than planning. Like, and when that lightning strikes, I've learned to just run with it. Like when I get an idea, I'm like, fuck it, I'll get up at 4 a.m, record it and edit it later. So you can find all sorts of things over on my Twitch channel. And yeah.
Well, everyone head over there, especially if you want to meet Charlie or not meet Charlie, but want to talk to Dee. So your Twitch is about like you being the player. Going back to you being a DM, what do you love and or hate about being a GM?
Oh goodness. The thing I probably like the least about being a GM, and good players can make this, fade into the background. Um, but there's that pressure of whenever a conversation like reaches its natural conclusion, that means the ball has been passed back to you. And that's kind of the thing that I had to tell one of my friends who just recently started GMing. I'm like, yeah, that never really goes away. The pressure of that, like, I have to be the one who like steps the story forward at most tables. My favorite thing has to be new players, because TTRPGs are so vast and like they have so much depth to them that watching someone's face when like they get it
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, D&D is the obvious example because that's a gateway for a lot of people. And like seeing, like, you can explain to someone and you can say to somebody like, oh yeah, it's a game you can play where you can do you know, pretty much anything, and like you can tell that to people. But when someone has like an off the wall idea, like, can I catch the trebuchet ammo that's being launched toward us, it's like, you can definitely try. Like, yeah, go for it. And just watching people's faces when they're like, oh, I can try anything, it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's some of my favorite parts of TTRPGs, is just that the endless customization of like, go for it. Like, even I am very much a sure, like a yes but GM. That's how I describe my style, where it's just like, I would like to break the laws of reality, and I'm just like, okay, like, you can try, go for it. That the Pale Cold Sun thing that I mentioned earlier, that show ended with my players becoming gods. They ascended to godhood, and they had to restart reality. And they're going to be the pantheon of my fantasy world when that premieres in live format. So, you know, it's I just love watching people like really like the slow decline of like, suddenly they're asking for like dice sets, and they're just really, it's like, yes, welcome. Welcome to the pit.
Get initiated into the cult.
Yes, it's great. It's great.
Well, it's been so great talking to you. I would love for our viewers to be able to follow you in your further work. Where can we find you?
You can find me primarily over on the Bird app with twitter.com/itsDeRiddler with an LER. I do all kinds of stuff there. If you keep your eyes open, you may see me post something at like 4 a.m. that's got backwards music and just really weird stuff on it. So it's a blast. Or, you know, I'll just be retweeting thirst traps. One of the two. It's a coin toss, really. And I feel that imperfectly encapsulates me, just in general. So.
Okay, well, we're here for it. Let's bring
Fantastic.
back our very special musical guest, Sarah.
All right, Sarah, take it away.
I was busy trying to write a funny comment in the chat and I got distracted. All right. So I thought I'd do my second gayest song. I guess you could argue that this one is equally gay or even gayer than the first one, but I wrote this one for a show I did at a Fringe festival several years ago. I did a one-woman musical show that was all about the way that we perceive romance in fiction, the way that we depict it in fiction, and how that affects our real life relationships, and how our real life relationships affect the way that romance is depicted in fiction. I have a lot of romance feelings. So this song was particularly about how depictions of gay characters on TV historically have not always been what we might have hoped for. So if you ever had a gay character on a TV show that you fiercely loved because they were gay and you felt loyal to them even though they were written terribly, this is for you. Hey, couldn't help but notice that you and I are the only two gays in this book or movie or TV series or play. Anyway, we should probably date. I mean, why else would we be here? It's clearly fate. It doesn't matter who you are or what you like, or if you're even my type, or if you're more than just a stereotype. It's okay. It doesn't matter if you've dated other genders in the past. You're just gay now, and anyway, this relationship will probably be your last. Sorry. Don't worry if the writers erase your identity and simplify all your complexities. Audiences like things in boxes. you see. So, hey, let's just make the best of it, we'll be okay. Just think about all of those kids we're giving strength by being brave. So pretend we're okay. Just keep a stiff upper lip even when things aren't great. You know we're all they've got in this, and now they're all so invested. We have to be perfect for them. Try not to let the pressure build. All right, I give up, I admit it. I'm not perfect, nor you. We can't be everything to everyone. It's more than anyone could do. If only there were others here to help us fight the fight, we wouldn't feel quite so alone tonight. Maybe we could finally let go of what's not right. So, hey, maybe it's time we said our goodbyes, went our separate ways, hoping that we'll still be friends and come what may. We're here today, so I hope you're okay, 'cause we deserve better than this.
Yay!
Yeah.
I have a feeling there's going to be tons of people who relate to that feeling.
Yeah.
So
I had to rock out.
we're gonna do something we haven't done yet on the show before, and then we're gonna just do this real quick, and then we will wrap up. We have gone a little over, but you know, tech issues and all that fun stuff. But we're going to bring back all of our guests. So I'm transitioning us over. We're all on the screen together, and let our guests ask each other questions, because it kept happening in the Zoom call after the show. We decided to make it a part of the show, and so yeah. If you guys have questions for each other, now is the time to poke each other's brains.
This was my favorite part of the last time I was on, but it was like after the stream is over. So I'm so glad you lumped it into the actual show. This is delightful.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
No, please.
I was going to ask Friday. I seem to have missed, you guys referenced a video you did talking about Arrow Ace flavors, and I must have missed that one. So would you mind recapping?
Yes. Well, okay, because the robots don't like me, and also the robots hate the gays. So that's just science. So TikTok like does actively suppress queer content. That's a thing that they do. It's friendly. But whatever. So the second that I started making those videos, my views like tanked, and they were like actively hiding my videos. It's like the more gay videos that I make, the more it like causes people to unfollow me, but also I think some of them are just people unfollowing me, but the robot does also like prune your followers and it suppresses content. So I just keep making gay videos, but they're like in stealth mode, unfortunately. So I'm not surprised that you missed that, because a lot of people just don't see them anymore. But yes, I made a video talking about how Ace and Arrow are like very similar flavors, and they're both in the Petit Four family, which is quite pleasant for a tea party. You get that like vanilla cake, and there's like a lemon and raspberry kind of jelly situation going on. But Ace is definitely more like solid cake with like a buttercream icing kind of a flavor and texture to it. And then Arrow is like almost gummy, but like mochi gummy. So it's like if you had those Petit Fours, but they were chewy and soft, like they were made with rice flour, mochi style, rather than baked into like a crumb cake in a more Western style. So they're actually very similar ones, but one's gummy, which I like.
I appreciate that, because I'm not a huge fan of the chewy mochi flavor, and I'm a deeply romantic gray Ace person. So
excellent. Yeah, someone told me, actually a bunch of people came on that video and said, oh, that's so funny because of the whole cake and Ace thing. And I was like, I don't know what that means. There was a phase of the internet where that was a thing.
Yeah, I can't even remember what the origin is. Someone else will probably be like, someone is in the chat going like, I know. But there is something where I've seen a lot of like graphics that people do of like layer cakes with the purple, gray, black, white ace flag colors.
Cute. I like that. Yeah, and also we started calling y'all ace cakes, which is a cute nickname. So everyone's welcome to use that as you would like. Ace Cakes is just like a cute nickname. We're like, hey, Ace Cakes, what's up? What up, Ace Cakes?
I accept it. You may call me Ace Cakes anytime.
It's cute.
All right, Dee, what was your question?
I wanted to know, Friday, when did you first realize that other people don't have synesthesia?
I feel like that's a
Good question.
two-part revelation because there's sort of the initial like other than-ing and like people think it's weird when you say this kind of stuff. And then that was, I mean, probably kindergarten or so. And then much, much later, I think I was 17 when I realized there was a name for it and like realized what it was and had kind of that light bulby like, oh, okay, this is what this is and this is how it's different and this is what other people are not experiencing. And honestly, even still, I have a really hard time wrapping my head around other people not like feeling sound as texture or tasting words or stuff. I'm like, how do you sense things? I know like just 1 sense per sense is a wild idea to me. Like I forget that other people don't have this going on, this like overlapping and cross wiring. So I feel like it's an ongoing series of revelations. And also, I'm sorry, I never have a simple answer for anything.
No, that's
literally
fine.
ever.
That is fine. My question for Sarah was, when did you first, what was the first song you wrote? Do you remember the title of it?
Oh gosh. I used to write little songs a lot when I was a kid. Just like I'd make up little songs. Like the first song I wrote where I was like, I play an instrument now and I am going to write and song was actually, oh gosh, I'm second guessing myself now. I think it was a song I have called Seersucker Prince. Which is very appropriate because it's summer and it's seersucker season. But the first song I wrote when I was a little kid was called Crescent Moon, and I actually still remember how it goes. It was
Amazing.
like, because you see the crescent moon out during the day sometimes, and it was like, crescent moon, why do you come out so soon?
Fantastic.
That's probably the actual first song
Love
I
it.
ever wrote.
That is so cute.
How old were you?
God, probably 6 or 7. I don't know why that one stuck in my head. But every time I see a moon out during the day, crescent or not, I think, why do you come out so soon?
Why do you come out so soon?
I love it.
Good rhyme, right? Good rhyme.
That's my favorite song.
Amazing.
You're gonna have to recreate this. You're gonna have to actually record it.
Yeah, I'll have to fill in the lyrics.
Absolutely. I love this idea.
You have a jumping off point at least, so like that's good.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
you could do like the first verse from the perspective of you as a child, and the second verse is the perspective of you now.
Are we
And
in
be
like
like, now I know the science.
lab right now? Because
Yeah, we're in collab mode. Now I know the science. It's like,
Hold
older
on.
Sarah
All
talking to young
right.
Sarah.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Yeah. We're whiteboarding right now. We're whiteboarding.
Yes, love it.
Bouncing ideas.
Oh my gosh, I will say that my abuelita's
Amazing.
favorite moons were the really thin little crescents that come out pretty early on in the day. And anytime there was a thin little crescent against a blue sky, when I was little, she'd always say, "Mira, like a fingernail." Little fingernail moon. And every time I see one, I think about my abuelita and I'm like, fingernail, yeah. So it's my favorite moon because of her.
Amazing.
I love that.
That
Oh.
is,
I forgot to tell you about this during our interview Friday. So my family is from the Azores. They're Azorean Portuguese. And I went to São Miguel, and I got to go to the only European tea producer in São Miguel, and like got to like watch them make tea live in their big old, and then they used equipment from like for the last 100 years. They had all that equipment in their little museum, and it was like, 2 parts heritage and 1 part just tea lover, and I just it was amazing. But anyway,
that's amazing. Is this the Gorreana Tea Factory?
Probably. I don't remember the name of it.
Neat.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. I immediately went into research mode, so I'm going to be looking into that later.
I have a question for Dee. Do you have a favorite character of characters you've made up?
Oh, you can't do that to me.
No. Or just the one
Dee's choice.
The one that here's an easier one. What's the character voice you find yourself just slipping into accidentally the most often?
It is probably, I had this vampire who has existed for hundreds of years, but really found her stride during the 50s. And she talks a lot like this, darling. Her name's Ophelia Justine, but most people just call her the director. And some people, some of the people I play with who are in that game will be like, you sound like the director right now. It's a voice that I'll slip into very, very, very often.
I love that. That's amazing. I actually have a character voice. It doesn't have a name or anything that I do. Sometimes it's that kind of mid-Atlantic. I'll be like, ooh, really? So interesting. Very fascinating. Tell me more about this director. And I feel like they're maybe they would have a great conversation.
I love that.
I've heard you do that voice.
I love that.
So my favorite voice I've ever heard Dee do is my own. So Dee played a Kenku in one of our campaigns and mimicked all of us. And when Dee came and did my little Irish halfling's voice, I died. I screamed. I'm pretty sure I screamed. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's a fun thing I like to do when people aren't really aware that I'm a voice actor, and I naturally like to parrot voices because I'm very far from neurotypical. So I just decided to make my character Kenku, so it just parroted everyone's voice back at them. And when she tried to talk like Fidelma, it wasn't the accent so much, but it was the pacing that Fidelma had, because she has a very, very particular way that she paces out her words, and that's that was the thing to hone in on. That was fun. I remember that.
I will never be able to hear anyone else play Kenku because you killed it.
Oh, thank you.
So does anyone have any other questions? I feel like I'm in my classroom. So what questions do you have? Does anyone have any more questions before we end the call?
Amazing. I think I'm good.
I want to talk about this weekend's event. The Friday, Saturday. There's the Emerald City Game Masters Guild is doing a Pride Fest game situation Friday, Saturday. That is going to be super fun. And I mean, I'll be, they're slinging tea in a little digital vendor booth, but there's going to be all sorts of cool games going on. And I'm super excited about that. Dee, are you going to be there doing that?
I am not going to be a GM in one of them, but one of my partners, Max, is running a game, and I might just pop into it. It depends on I'm not exactly sure how busy my weekend looks, but I may be able to pop in.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of really fun games on the schedule. I was looking at the sneak peek little schedule grid behind the scenes that all the people working the event have access to, and I was like, okay, I got my eyes on some games that I want to step away from my digital booth and go play. I saw Max on the schedule. I was like, that.
So
hello.
Max and Faye are both Car and my adopted queer children. So Car and I have become the mothers of just as many queer children as want to be our child. And so definitely rooting for both of them. The team that they've got going for that event looks freaking awesome. And I love Honey, and that was almost enough to get me to sign up. I'm too busy.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't yet had a chance to play with Honey, so I'm keeping my eyes on signups. I'm like, maybe I can sneak in there at the last one. I don't know. Because
She's
last
the
time I did
sweetest.
one of these events for Galentine's, I didn't step away from my digital booth to go play a game because I was like shy and I didn't understand the format yet. So I was like, I'm gonna hang out and watch this round, and then maybe next time I'll actually go and play some games because everyone had so much fun.
Yeah.
I want to go play. I'm just like real weird about stuff I haven't done before. It takes me a few running starts to like actually do new things, but I'm gonna do it.
The online thing is new but getting to be normal for all of us. I recommend sure. We've all been dying to play games, and that's like the perfect outlet to be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
I think signups start on Monday, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we will transition over then, and we put all the links in the chat. So when we transition over, Reecie and I can tell you about our new tea that Friday has made for us, and it's so good, and we can't wait for all of you to try it. All right, so I'm going to transition over. Great. So it's just us now. So we were on Game Closet, the podcast, and one of the questions we got asked was if TTRPG had a tea flavor, what would it be? And so we just started talking, and as per usual, we discovered we have more in common. Reecie, you want to tell everyone what is in it?
So I hope I don't mess this up because it's amazing, and I've already drank all of my first batch of it that I received from Friday. But we like to keep it sweet, so we have some orange peel and some raspberry. We also like to have something that will give us a little bit of kick, so it's a black tea. We also love anything that sparkles, so there's glitter in there. But please tell me if there's an ingredient that I'm missing.
There's one very special ingredient, and that is the pink and white teapot sprinkles.
I was just gonna say
that. Oh, you were gonna say? I'm sorry.
I wasn't sure if it was an ingredient or like a novelty.
It is on the website, so yeah. So and especially because it does have some stuff in it that I believe is not vegan. I'm not sure. Yeah. So yeah, there's some stuff in it that's not vegan, so it is listed on the ingredients list because everything else is vegan, and so that's really important to note. But yeah, the sprinkles match our logo, which are amazing. Leah, who is LMPanda _ on social media, made for us. And we are going to have stickers soon, and we've got our tea going. And it's just like, it's just a dream come true to have all these things going on. So, amazing.
We're very excited about the tea. We're also excited about other things that will be coming up on this channel. So it's not... Our talk show is great, but we want to be able to interact more. So we do have a fun role-playing campaign coming up, as well as a couple of other things, if you want to talk about it, Nikki.
Yeah, so I had this idea to do a charity run for races, and I wanted Christina, who is DMXtina20 or D20Xtina?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I wanted them to GM it and have an all Latinx cast play on it. So Friday will be on, Reecie will be on, I will be producing it on the backside, and it's going to be a game of Pasión de las Pasiones, and it is a queer cowpoke themed Western telenovela, and I cannot wait to go escándalo in the chat. And it's going to be so much fun. So keep an eye out for that. Our cast is almost rounded out, and I cannot wait for you all to get to be a part of that and see that and help us raise money for a really amazing cause. And other than that, we have double date game night where you get to join my girlfriend and I. We're inviting other couples to play games with us on stream. Um, and so that will be really fun. We have our first guest slated for that, and you'll see that coming up pretty soon. I'm hoping to get Dee on that with their partner. And so it's going to be really fun. But yeah, I'm planning a Stardew Valley stream that might be me and one other person. We're still in talks about that. That will be going just for the summer since it's going to be during the day, and I'm a teacher, so I don't always have availability during the day. Yeah, we're really excited. Keep an eye out for all the amazing things that we're doing and planning, and just so excited for. And with that, if you don't have anything else to share, Reecie, I think we can wrap things up.
Yeah, let's take it out. Please be sure to follow us on all of our channels and social media platforms. If you haven't already subscribed to our Twitch, please do so. You can also find us on Twitter at TTRPG _ and then Facebook and Instagram at TTRPG. We also have a YouTube channel, which you should definitely follow. If you didn't get to watch the entire stream, you can go back and watch it and share it with all of your friends. And be sure to use the discount code TTRPG on Friday Afternoon Tea in order to order our new blend, but also all the amazing other blends that are available. And also check out Earl Gay, which is only available during Pride season.
Woo! All right, bye everybody.
Bye.